Welcome to another episode of Educating Homebuyers, the podcast. I'm your host, Brady Haye, and my mortgage team has over 9 years of mortgage experience here in Des Moines, Iowa. Whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, investing, or simply just curious about the market, this show is all about helping you and future homebuyers feel informed, educated, and comfortable as you take your next step. Each week, I sit down with real estate professionals, past clients, and local experts to unpack real stories, real advice, and what you actually need to know when buying a home today. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. On today's episode, we're talking with a guest who brings one of the most complete perspectives into real estate. With a background as both a mortgage lender and a title closer, he's been a part of more than 1,900 closings along his career, while working alongside lenders, attorneys, and even clients every single step of the way. His expertise gives him the ability to anticipate roadblocks, keep transactions on track, and guide buyers and sellers through the transaction with extreme confidence. Bo Cosens, welcome to Educating Homebuyers.
Thank you. That might be the nicest intro I've ever gotten in my life.
Golly. If only I could take credit that I wrote it, right?
Yeah. Let's just say you did.
I've said to other people, though, it's always easier to say those things when they're the truth. And it's, despite us using your bio and AI to generate them, they're still facts, right? Like they're facts about the way that you've developed yourself. And it makes it easy for me to kind of highlight, the people that I'm lucky enough to have conversations with, because you've earned it, and you've put the work in. So
I feel like 1,900 transactions really ages me.
Depends on how you look at it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to break that down. What would that be on a very successful agent's yearly?
Yeah, I mean,
but no.
We should probably clarify those aren't all just your real estate clients, right? Like there was some past life there involved too. But
yeah, I mean, there's mortgage lending, closing. I mean, that was more like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Too. I haven't updated that. I need to probably go.
A little outdated numbers.
It'd be interesting.
Well, you're probably at what 3,000 then by now in the last 2 years. I'm just kidding.
That
was a joke, everyone.
No, I would love to, if I could get a hold of some of my old lenders that I worked for, and then closing company. I would be intrigued to know.
Get a true total.
Oh yeah,
I always think about that too. Most people that are listening and know me, I know I worked at Wells Fargo similar to you did. And you think back to the numbers of the days we were putting up back then and the amount of transactions. I mean, it was a whole different ball game back then, right? Like we were slinging deals like they were just deals and not people. But
well, they made it that way.
That's correct. It was the way that the corporate world had made it. But, I remember when I left the call center and was transitioning to where I'm at now, I still remember they were asking me what's your volume look like? And I was doing $4 million a month. And when you compare that to a local world, that's a whole different situation. Now we strive for that, right? We want to help those many people out, but a different perspective.
Yes. But we also don't want that either at the same time. Wouldn't you agree?
I mean, to some extent, obviously selfishly, I'd love to help more people. And I think that the unique thing about what I've taken the time to build over the last 2 years is I've built a process that could sustain that much business or more, frankly. But I still don't want to lose the authenticity behind the way I do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's got to be somewhere in there. There's how do we keep this not being transactional?
Yeah.
That's what they had us trained to be, is transactional.
Yep.
We did the application. We really
beyond that, we didn't do anything.
Beyond that, and looking back, not a model that I respect.
Right.
I mean,
and frankly, that's why we left.
Yeah, it is.
So before we dive too deep into this, I want to start off by precedenting. So Bo Cosens, thanks again for joining me.
Yep.
Real estate agent with RE/MAX Precision. Want to give you an opportunity before we dive into the logistics of how we got to where we are, but give everybody an insight into your story. You're a real estate agent now, but give somebody some context into what your previous careers looked like.
Yeah, I mean, how far back do you want me to go? I would say I always knew I wanted to be in sales. So I take myself all the way back really to 18 years old.
Got it.
In college, that's what they tell you you're supposed to do, go to college. I was in my first semester at DMAC.
Okay.
And my grandpa calls me. And he goes, "What are you doing?" I was like, sitting at a buddy's dorm,
Probably drinking a beer.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably a Tuesday, drinking a beer. And he's like, "No. What are you doing?" Again, grandpa going to college. He goes, "Nope. Get out. You got to go into sales. Your uncle's a salesman. Your other uncle's a salesman. I was a salesman. You're a salesman." He's like, "Time to get out.
Got it.
Go get a job." I said, all right. So next day I went to class. I was going to school for criminal justice. Thought, he's probably right. The whole time I was sitting in that class, he's right. I am in sales. I love
What was your vision with criminal justice?
I had no idea. I was just going to school.
Just checking the box.
Yeah, just checking the box, getting those prerequisites out of the way.
Sure.
I didn't know if I wanted to be a cop, what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So next day I went to school, sitting in that class, and I'm like, my grandpa's right. I literally got out of that class, didn't go to my next one, went home, called my uncle Ben, who worked for State Farm at the time.
Okay.
He had his own insurance agency. And he said, what do you want to do? And I said, well, Grandpa says I need to get into sales. Also, my grandpa's my best friend. He can the one that can brutally tell me that.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, okay. So he threw me out a couple agents. Next day I had an interview in Ames with a real insurance agent.
Mm-hmm.
Started the day after that. Went and got all my licenses for insurance over the next month while I was just kind of shadowing a guy. And that's how I got into sales.
Yeah.
Transferred down and actually worked side by side with my uncle for 3 years.
Okay.
Did that at age 20, was there until 23. Watched all the guys at Wells Fargo making money. We're living an hour and a half away.
Sure.
My wife and I, we really want to be closer to family, friends. We were finding ourselves driving back every weekend. Long term, it probably wasn't going to work.
Got it.
So ended up getting a job at Wells Fargo, which great experience. I have nothing too bad to say about it. But it was good. I mean, that's where we all cut our teeth in this industry.
Yep.
From there,
you and I were there pretty similar time, right? You remember what years you were there?
I'd have to go back and look at exact years. It all just kind of runs together anymore, it seems like. Mm-hmm. But from there, I knew I wanted to become a realtor in the Des Moines area.
Got it.
So I left Wells Fargo, went and worked for a local branch because I thought, well, this is the way I'm going to meet other agents and learn the local market.
So when you left Wells Fargo, you stayed in mortgage first?
Yep. I stayed in mortgage for about 8 months. While moving from there to a local branch, I learned everything is completely different in Iowa because Wells Fargo, I was selling everything on the southern states. I was Georgia, Alabama, Florida. None of those are abstract states.
Got it.
Which a lot of people don't know. We're one of 2 abstract states, us and I think it's Oklahoma.
Yep.
So there I'm like, well, I need to go to that side of this industry first before I become a realtor.
Sure.
My wife wanted to kill me. I took a huge pay cut.
Shout out Molly.
Yeah, shout out Molly. Took a huge pay cut to go be a loan closer.
Okay.
And worked for a local company that's affiliated with a real estate company. My plan was I was going to be there for a year.
Okay.
Until I became a realtor.
So the vision was what? To learn the ins and outs of what that side of things looked like?
Yeah, there's a whole backside of a transaction that a lot of people, agents, don't know about.
Yeah.
As a lender, you know about them because our rules and regulations here are totally different. We have a lot of attorneys that are touching a transaction before it closes.
Yep.
We got a clear title. That's abstracting, all of that. So my mind goes, I need to learn that side before I jump into this.
Which is smart.
Yeah. Depends on who you ask. My wife would say no.
That's fair. But listen, you did your research, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then that is where I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch all these agents that are doing really well. What are their, characteristics? What are they doing? Because in that position, you're closing for everybody.
Sure.
So you're seeing the good, you're seeing the bad. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was, like I said, I was going to be there a year. I fell in love with it. I loved working with the attorneys, creating deeds and clearing title issues. And I really did enjoy it. Learned a lot. I ended up being there for 2.5 years and got my real estate license. I was going to do both. The company I was working for ended up telling me I couldn't do both after I'd already gotten my license and they agreed to it.
Okay.
So great mentor, and I've talked to you about him a lot, Scott Steelman.
Yep.
I went to him and asked him, and I said, I just wanted to do both, and tell me I can't do both. I have to pick one. And he goes, well, do you want to be a realtor? I said, yeah. And he goes, then they're doing the best thing they could ever do for you.
Pushing you.
Yeah. He's like, then you just got to do it.
Just got to go.
And I kicked that around again for a little bit, like a month. Mm-hmm. Finally, I put in my resignation, jumped right in. They told me the first 6 months, don't plan on having a deal. thinking, okay, like, shoot, don't plan on
You
having.
thought your wife was going to kill you before.
Yeah, and I'm like, don't plan on having a deal for the first 6 months. Came right out the gate, got 3 in that first month, and I've never looked back.
Love it.
I loved it.
What did that look like? So from scratch, brand new agent.
Yep.
What was your first strategy? Like, how did you get those first couple of bats?
If there was an open house that someone was looking for someone to sit in, I sat in it.
Okay.
I would do 2-3 open houses a weekend.
Okay.
And I tell all new agents that too. Like, you will not sell that house you're sitting in. So, I always, everyone wants to sit in that $800 million house that's open house. Those are not the ones you want to sit in as a new agent. You want to sit in that $200,000 to even $400,000 house.
Okay.
Those are the people that maybe haven't bought a house yet, or they maybe bought one house and have never gained any loyalty, or that agent never reached back out to them.
Yeah.
So they're willing to work with you.
It's actually pretty crazy how few people, or how many people go through an open house unrepresented.
Yeah.
And just don't understand the process of having an agent in their corner.
100%.
So.
Oh, and they always think maybe that the listing agent's going to get them the best deal.
Sure.
I always tell people, you got to remember who hired the listing agent.
Right. Yeah, there's a reason that seller hired them.
Yes. Yeah, there's
For
a
sure.
relationship.
Yep.
But that's, I find, is very important, is sitting in those open houses in that price range, because those are the buyers that most likely don't have representation.
Yep.
And like I said, you're not going to sell them that house, but you're going to sell them
Find them a
house.
different one.
Yeah.
So, okay, so right out the gates, you said 3 clients. Were all 3 of those open house leads?
Yep.
Wow.
I got lucky.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because, I mean, now you can say in the last 6 months, I probably haven't picked someone up from an open house.
Yeah.
But, I would think that I was just so hungry. And I still am hungry, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I probably annoyed the hell out of those people. I was calling them every day.
There was a fine line there, right? Like on how to properly follow up with a lead or a client, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, hey, clearly it worked. Something worked anyways.
Something worked,
And I feel like everybody receives follow up in a different light too. You know, like some people are really appreciative of the commitment you make to following up with them, and other people are like, "Wow, leave me alone."
Yeah. Oh, and then the brokerage I was with, they had this thing called desk duty.
Okay.
That if a phone call came in, that whoever was on desk duty got that. So you could sign up for 3 of them for the month until 3 days before the end of the month. So on the 27th, for instance, this month, 27th, if they weren't all filled, you could go in and fill all the rest of them out.
So your ass was at that desk every single time you could?
Dude, the 3 days before, the 27th, I was there at 8 in the morning, and I literally wrote my name in for every single spot that was open.
Yeah.
And, but that's also, I was telling you that, I watched the characteristics of agents when I was a closer, and I always found the ones that sold the most real estate were in the office every day.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't in there all day, but they made a point to come to that office every single day.
Be intentional with it.
And so that's one thing I've continued even, 6, 7 years later. I make sure to be in the office every day.
Yep.
I
think that's a valuable lesson.
You have to have a routine. And it would be easy for me to, throw in a load of laundry in the morning, sit on the couch, check my email on my phone, fold the laundry.
When you can have your computer in front of you there, but I'll tell you, like, even from my side, if I ever have a day that I choose to work from home, there's a reason why, because I'm not trying to work that hard, and it seems like when you put yourself in the routine of going to the office, you kind of almost force yourself to go the extra mile, right? And do those extra little things rather than just scraping by. Now, I'm sure you'd probably agree with this. Like, the flexibility that both of our jobs provides is something that we would never trade for the world. Like, having the ability to do our job from anywhere is incredibly valuable. But to your point, like you said, like, if you're really trying to give everybody that extra level of service, I completely and utterly agree that going to the office is one of the best decisions you can make.
Absolutely. I mean, and I'm fortunate now, like, I'll give him a shout out, David Rodriguez's office, and the culture that he's built in that office. We have a lot of people come in every day, and that also holds you accountable to, hey, their door's closed, they're working.
Yep.
I got to sit here and work.
Yep.
I got to do it. And do we have fun? Absolutely.
Right.
But there's been a culture, I've been in a few offices that your guys' office is a good example of a culture. Everybody gets along. Everybody's driving. I mean, there's no secrets, which is what I love too. Mm-hmm. When he was opening that office, I told him, I said, you can't have secrets.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I mean, we've been where there was secrets. Whatever's working, let's share it. Mm-hmm. Your sphere is different than my sphere. That's different from her sphere and his sphere.
Yeah.
So let's just all work together. Mm-hmm. If it's working, share it. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's been times where, hey, I had a Facebook post that did really well.
Yeah.
And when I say really well, it got 3 likes.
It is kind of funny how hard it is to get interactions online anymore, isn't it?
It is. And it's like,
so if you're seeing this, like this video.
Yeah. If you get 70 likes, it's like, hey, this post worked for me the way I worded it.
Right.
I recommend one of you guys throw it in your loop here in like 3 months.
Yeah.
Just in case there is
What's an example of something like that? Like, what's some content that you've seen recently as an agent that you've noticed, or maybe somebody in your office has noticed that's done really well?
Okay, so I had a really silly one here 2 years ago when I was representing a builder.
Okay.
That I explained why a builder doesn't include a fridge. I thought everybody kind of knew why they don't, but a builder doesn't include a fridge because whatever the builder picks is not going to be what Brady Haye likes.
Sure.
You like the dual door freezer underneath. Someone else might not care about that.
Sure.
An older person, they want the fridge or freezer up top, fridge below.
Sure.
Some want water in the door, some want it on the inside. I mean, there's a million fridges you can pick.
Yeah.
So that builder just knows whatever I pick's going to be wrong.
Right.
So why don't I just give you a credit or let you go get that on your own?
Yeah.
And people are picky with washer dryers too. They don't include that. So people like top load, some people like front load.
Sure.
Pedestals and all that. So that was a video that did really well.
Yeah.
And then I told a girl in our office, I'm like, hey, I know you're representing new construction. I just recorded this on my DJI at my open house on Sunday when no one was there. She ended up doing it and same reaction.
But different databases, right? Like, that's the
Totally
cool part
different.
about it is like two entirely different audiences that both received that same video very, very well.
Yep.
So I think that's an incredible lesson for, really any content creator for that matter, but really industry professionals, real estate agents that are looking to create content. Don't necessarily try to recreate the wheel.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I saw this on a TikTok this morning. Like, one of the best advices that I can give is try to be truly and 100% authentically you.
Yeah.
And the moment you try to create Bo Cosens 2.0, when you're not Bo Cosens 1.0, you're wasting your time and energy because you're trying to be somebody you're not, Yep. If you were to try to keep up with David Rodriguez's storyline on his Instagram story, how exhausting would that be, right?
You wouldn't have time.
But talk about a guy who does it so well because he that's him, right? Yep. And so that's something I've learned wholeheartedly is, and I would even share, you talked about our office, like a couple of guys in my office, Jared and Louie, do an incredible job of short form videos, talking to a camera one-on-one, giving tips and tricks on how to buy houses. To me, that never felt authentic, right? Yep. Which is why I went with this podcast route now.
I was just about to say that.
To me is like truly and authentically me because I can sit here and talk to you all day long because I care about the people. I don't care about that camera that I'm looking at. I'm trying to see what brand it is. I can't see from here, but shout out Amplified for having all the equipment here to help make this process easy too. But that's like, for me, why this setup is such a no-brainer for me, because it allows me to stay in front of my database and my people and be me, right? It allows me to be who I am, and I'm not saying that everybody should go out and start a podcast because it might not be the right fit for everybody, but be true to who you are.
Yeah. And that's one thing I struggle with a lot too. I try to find that happy medium of I do those quick short form videos and then I let off the gas.
But it doesn't feel real, right?
It doesn't feel real because that's
imagine how much more motivated you would be if that was you, right? And you enjoyed doing it. But I think the truth behind what you're getting at here is that you don't feel like Bo Cosens when you film those videos.
Yep.
Right? What would you say is the heart behind Bo Cosens, right? I have my perspective, but what's your thoughts?
As far as like what's me?
What's you as a man? What's you as a real estate agent? Like when you think about the core behind you.
Relationships. I mean, I always say my good buddy.
Yeah.
My good friend. Like every time I'm talking to someone, I'm always like, how many good buddies do you have? I'm like, a lot. And
a lot of them.
One of the girls at my ice cream shop one day, because I'm always on the phone. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's where I connect with people.
Yeah.
maybe I'm not putting as much out on social media as I should, but I try to touch base with people.
Yep.
And she's told me, she's like, you're always on your phone. How many phone calls do you have a day? I said, I don't know. I handed her my phone because she counted them.
Mm-hmm.
And she went through and she goes, you've talked to 87 people today? You've had 87 phone calls? I'm like, well, to be fair, like 10 of those are like the same person. We're working like a deal out, you know,
Sure.
negotiating. She goes, that's 87 phone calls though. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And she's like, so she started going through her phone. She goes, now mind you, this is a 16-year-old girl that works at my
People don't
ice
talk
cream
on the
shop.
phone at 16.
They don't talk on the phone. She goes, I've had 5 phone calls
all week.
and they're all my mom.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's not me.
Yeah.
My thing is I like to go get lunch with people.
Yep.
And I like face-to-face interactions and like I said, phone calls. I want to hear your voice. I want to hear what kind of mood Brady Haye's in today.
I always joke because if I ever text you, I know I'm not going to get a text response and you're just going to call me.
Yeah.
Now, and the reason I text you is because obviously I don't know what your schedule's like, you're busy, whatever, but there's a strong chance if I send you a text, I'm just going to get a call from you, which I've always respected.
And if you get a text from me, it's always a voice text, which is all mumble jumbled because it's not what I said.
Right.
And I was reading, shit, I got to edit this.
Yep.
Oh, he's already opened it. I can't edit it.
But I think you hit the nail on the head there is like you truly, you want to dive into the people that you're surrounded by. And I think that's one of the coolest parts of how I've gotten to get to know you. Obviously, context for everybody, you work a lot with my business partner and branch manager, Louis Wickett, and you guys grew up together. And, you know, despite, frankly, you and I not being like day-to-day genuine business partners, I feel like I could call you any second of the day and you would drop anything to try to make something happen for me.
Absolutely.
And I can't stress how like awesome that is to have that. Despite us not necessarily working together all the time, like it's so valuable to have you in my corner. And that's just like a really, really rare and unique feature of somebody in this industry, I feel like.
And I feel the same about you. I mean, that's one thing, like, you know, my dad always said it. The world's not a small place. Just good people know good people.
Mm-hmm.
And as I've gotten older, I'm like, that is so true.
Yeah.
You know, we're lucky to know the people that we know and that we stay close with. And it makes being in this industry a lot of fun, really.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think one of my biggest examples of showing your heart was one time, I don't know if we were at the office or I was talking to you on the phone, but I was bitching about I think it was a garbage disposal issue or something like that wasn't working at my house. You're like, oh, I can fix that. Let me come over.
You were going to hire a plumber.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean. And listen, I want to be clear. I don't know what the hell I'm doing when it comes to plumbing. I want to make something very clear, and I'm not about to take that on.
Neither do I.
Bo's a little handier than I am, apparently, but it was as simple as literally Bo just going out of his way. He had no intentions, no need, and frankly, probably saved me $500 or more. And came over and pushed a button on my garbage disposal. Next thing you knew, it worked. Like it was.
You'd have called a plumber out. He'd have told you it's broken. Well, he's got to buy a new one. He's going to charge you.
But I guess that just the reason why I share that story is because it just goes to show the authenticity. Like you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to go out of your way to come to my house to fix my garbage disposal, but you did because that's the kind of person you are. Like,
but if I had a flat tire, would you come pick me up?
I'd come pick you up. I wouldn't be able to fix it. I'll tell you that.
But you'd pick me up
for sure, 100%. And that's
kind of how I gauge. If I had a flat tire, 50 miles away.
Yeah.
Would you come to it? And a lot of my friends, I feel like, would do that.
Yeah.
And that's the people I keep close with me.
Yep. I love that. And that's, I mean, what more can you ask, right? You just want somebody who's there and just an ear to hear, you know? Mm-hmm. I think that's as this world has developed into a technologically focused society.
I hate it.
It has really become like, it's few and far between when you can find those true good friends, you know? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I really think back to, I hope that that's the perception that I put off, right, with my friends. And I'll be the first to admit, I am not as good at picking up the phone and making phone calls like I would say you are. You know, I'm not as intentional. I'm not as intentional about going out of my way just to call somebody just to chat and small talk. I try to do it in a different light. I try to text and check in, but even that, like, and I'm the first to admit that life gets busy, shit happens, and I don't even have a family, frankly. I couldn't imagine if I had kids like you guys do, and you know, just how much harder it is to balance that with your super successful career. But
to be fair, a real estate agent puts a lot of miles on a vehicle.
To spend a lot of time behind the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, I put 50,000 miles on my vehicle here. I always joke, like, yes, I go to the office every day. but also the truck is my office. So when I'm in the office, I try not to make phone calls there.
Sure.
I do them in my truck.
Do that while you drive.
And that's when it's easy to just, I shouldn't say check off 5 phone calls, because I have a lot of phone calls that'll last 30 minutes about literally nothing.
But I bet the coolest part about some of those calls you make is that there's no purpose behind it, right?
No.
Like a lot of it's just like, oh, this guy popped into my brain.
Well, and it works out for me too. I mean, I just got a listing over here in Johnston. I had literally just checked in with the guy. Like I was like, hey, shit, I haven't talked to him in a little bit.
Yeah.
Called him. We're talking. He's like, actually, I've been meaning to call you. My mother-in-law wants to sell her house.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, let's do it.
I think that's been one of the coolest parts I've realized with the podcast too, is because I have struggled with intentional reach outs, you know, whether it's previous friends or whatever it is, posting more regularly has allowed people to see my face more often. And I think that the tone that I put off when I film these episodes kind of just goes to show my intentionality and the fact that I do care about people.
Yeah.
And so an example similar to what you're talking about, like literally last week, as rates have trended down, had a longtime friend of mine from high school reach out and say, hey, I've been seeing your content, would love to explore what a refinance would look like for me and my family. And like me is like, wow, first off, I am so sorry that I have not talked to you in as many years as it's been.
Did you do his original mortgage?
No, never been a client, just literally high school, arguably my best friend in high school, like love the guy, and just life has gone the way it does, right? And it's been 15 years since I've been in high school and we just haven't connected, you know, and most of that's on me, frankly. But just life happens, right? You grow apart, but that's been one of the coolest unrealized things that I never thought would be a result of this podcast, but it's allowed me to reconnect with these people because they see my heart and my intentionality behind the content that I'm posting. Yep. And it has kind of opened the door to allow them to reach out to me as the expert or professional in this industry. And he hasn't pulled the trigger on a refinance yet, but I feel that, and I hope that when longtime friends of mine see my content that I post, I'd love to talk to you. I've always had this opinion with follow-up or reach outs that I always wanted to feel authentic. I don't want it to be just like, well, this guy's trying to sell me on a mortgage again. Like, I don't want that to be the heart behind why I reach out. Like, I do genuinely want to just get to know you.
I 100% agree with that.
But it's also a fine line of like, hey, if I probably would have, you know, checked in with somebody again more often. There's a lot of people. I mean, I see people all the time buy and sell houses, get mortgages that don't use me, that are very much in my sphere. Like, I think that every industry professional probably goes through something like that. And you always think in your back of your head, you're like, oh man, I wish I could have helped that person.
That one was a layup.
Like I would have loved to represent that client. But on the flip side, you have to kind of self-reflect. It's like, okay, what could I have done differently in order to secure that opportunity? You know?
Yeah. I mean, I when I was early in the career, I used to get, I mean, you did too, probably. Used to get butthurt like, why the hell didn't they use me?
Yeah.
That was a layup. Like, they know me too well, like, to not use me. But I've kind of brushed that off now because I'm sure I've helped someone that
somebody else
had that exact same thought.
Yep.
Of that should have been mine.
Well, I think that there's always certain opportunities too, and maybe it's a little different for me being on the financial side. There's a lot of probably people in my sphere that maybe aren't as comfortable with me knowing their finances, which I totally respect.
Yep.
There's a lot of different reasons as to why somebody would choose not to work with somebody. What I've always thought, and I want to approach it in a way where, first off, I want people to feel comfortable reaching out, and I want, obviously, selfishly, every opportunity I can to help people. My hope is that if you choose to make the decision to buy or sell a house or get a mortgage without utilizing my team, even just a conversation would be awesome. And tell me like, hey, just want you to know, like, I'm doing this. I'm going to buy a house. I want you to know why I'm choosing to go this direction. Like, that to me even goes a long ways, even if I don't earn the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, you always probably have a little piece of knowledge that you could give them, things to look out for. Hey, let me do a review of that mortgage that they're going to give you. Like, I get you have that relationship with the small town bank, not trying to break that. They send you a lot of business.
When I always stress, my reason for why I want to help my people is nothing to do with my income. It has all to do with making sure that they're taken care of.
Oh, yeah.
And there's so many instances where I've ran into stories, you know, and I talked to, I'm not going to name any names but I talked to a person in my sphere of influence just last week about somebody in their sphere of influence's situation. And they had heard that they were buying a new house. And this person that I was talking to was really curious how they were getting approved and how it was getting done and how they were able to financially support it, and was kind of in awe that it was even coming together. And I was like, you know what, based on what you're telling me, I kind of agree. I don't know how this is happening. And my fear is that they're going to work with another lender who's going to not educate them very well on what they're getting into, click a button to approve them, and not actually realize the authentic reality of their financial portfolio. And it could end up in either A, an entire loan denial and a blown up deal, or B, just a new home that they get that they're incredibly uncomfortable financially with. And that to me just hurts my heart more than the missed opportunity for me. It's like, no, I want to make sure those people, when they get into their new home, not only are they comfortable with their mortgage payment, but they understand what that looks like. And frankly, that their family is in a better position long term.
Yeah. I mean, and that's something I've always respected about, I mean, we've done deals together. And Key Mortgage in general. I mean, I just got a offer on one of my listings that it's with a big national bank. I don't feel comfortable with the pre-approval that I got, but that's a different story. But when you guys pre-approve someone, and this is the way I've always modeled my business, is we work it backwards in a sense.
Yep.
I don't talk house price. I talk payment. So if you're not comfortable with that payment, you're going to resent me. You're going to resent the lender. Next time when you're ready to sell that house in 2 years, you're probably not going to call me because you've just lived in a house you didn't have a good experience in for 2 years.
Right.
So, I mean, when we've done deals before, like I've talked to the client, like when they love a house, I'm like, okay, but now we got to take into consideration taxes and insurance. So my recommendation is call your insurance agent,
get a quote,
and then call the lender. And a lot of times, and again, that's just the way I do my business, is they get approved for $350,000. Well, a lot of times they're really only comfortable at $280,000.
Yep.
With today's interest rates and insurance. Insurance has gone through the roof.
Right.
So then we reset ourselves. Okay. Up to 280 is where we're comfortable. Okay.
Yep.
No problem. Let's focus on, let's update your portal. Let's update, scratch these ones that we wanted to go look at on Saturday, and let's just reset ourselves.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's what are you going to be comfortable with on a monthly basis?
Right.
Because that number's not changing. Your income could change.
Right.
Hopefully it's going to go
Hopefully
up.
the market improves, right? Maybe rates go down.
Yep.
Or vice versa. If they go up, we want to have an understanding of that payment comfort. And to your point, like if that lender that pre-approved that person, if they would have done their due diligence and already had that conversation about a realistic expectation on payment, then it doesn't waste your time as the agent. It doesn't waste the seller's time. It doesn't waste the listing agent's time. Like it's having a clear understanding of what you're getting into far before you even begin the process.
Well, it's funny. I remember there was an agent 3 years ago, and thank God they're not in the business anymore. Literally said, this person wants to go look at $400,000 houses. I was like, that's good.
Yeah, fantastic.
No, their pre-approval's up to 600. And I go, okay, well, I'd like to sell them a 600.
That's so insane.
It pissed me off. And I kind of watched that person's business from afar. And like I said, thank God they're not in the business anymore.
Yeah.
But there's every person in this industry can be like that. Like not me and you, but like there's people that are realtors and lenders that really want to push people for their own greed.
Yeah. When I always think it's funny, one of the conversations I've had with some of my closer real estate friends is like, I'll get a client that'll buy a great house, right? And the real estate agent, for everybody listening, is always paid usually on the percentage of the purchase price of the house.
Yep.
Lending institutions, we usually get paid by our company based on the loan amount that we originate.
Yep. Not the purchase price.
Yeah. And usually the work,
explain that to the uncommon person or person not in the industry.
So you figure roughly 3%, right, is what a real estate agent usually is paid. That's based on the price of the home that you pay for the property. Lending institutions, everybody's a little bit different on how they're paid, but for our format, we're paid based on the loan amount that we originate. So it's a little bit different. So if somebody goes and buys a $300,000 house, but they put $150,000 down, the lender's usually only based on the loan amount. Yep. So where I was getting at with that story is, like, I always joked, like, myself and the real estate partner will work equally as hard on the transaction, and we'll both make it a very smooth process for the client. and the realtor get paid on the full price of the house, and then the client will put basically 60% of the property down in down payment, and we only get paid based on the loan amount. So it's always kind of funny how that
it is
kind of happens, but it's just the nature of the business. But my point by bringing that up, and kind of where we started before bringing that up, is the reality is like, I'm not going to tell that client to put less down just because it makes me more money. Like that is not the premise. At the end of the day, yes, I'm a mortgage lender and I sell mortgages, but my goal is that clients don't have mortgages at all. I don't like my product that I sell. Yeah. I just like the avenue that and the bridge that it gaps in order to be able to provide long-term wealth for their clients by owning real estate. That's the important part of what I sell.
And I think that's also why I kind of look at payment too. Like talking to people about payment, I'm selling them this house, but I'm going to sell that house for them in 5 to 7 years. And most natural projection, people buy a nicer house. And so my goal is I'm going to then sell them a $600,000 house. And then maybe that's their forever house. And I hope it is. I mean, that's the American dream. I love when people said, my grandparents have lived in this house for 35 years.
Yeah. How cool is that?
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
I love that.
No doubt.
But it's not good for my business.
So if you want to sell, call Bo.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's why I always look at it that way. Like, what are you comfortable with right now? Like I said, most likely your income's going to go up. So you're going to buy another house at some point.
Right.
And I hope I'm the person that you call. I want to be your realtor for life.
Yep.
And that's why I try to stay in good contact with everybody. And hey, someone's granddaughter's going to get into real estate and they're going to use their granddaughter. That's all right too.
I think that the cool part too is how much easier is it for your client to have a good experience when they have a great insurance agent and a great lender also in the picture, right? If you can all three partner together to make it an incredible transaction, it's that much more likely that they're going to call you again when they go to transact again.
Absolutely.
So I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm an advocate for having a good team in your corner. And I don't want to downplay because there's a lot of fantastic people in our industry, but some of the best are doing things like the things that we're talking about.
Yep.
So,
and we're in a way, we're in a lonely industry. You have no boss. So you're still you're connecting with good people, like you said, your lenders and your insurance agents. But we're also not a lonely industry.
Right.
We are in each other's corners and we have to be.
Yep.
That's about, and not to burn bridges or anything. So.
Yeah, you got to lean on others to build yourself up, and frankly, find motivation from that. It's really easy to see our other industry pros as competition, and that's not how it should be.
Yeah,
we should really see that as motivation. And you hit the nail on the head with our office. Like, I wouldn't trade those boys for the world. They're pushing me every day to be better, and vice versa. And we're always bouncing ideas off each other. We meet every Monday to chat through different industry trends and ways that we can help better serve our clients. And I'm sure your office does very, very similar things as well. And there's enough business for all of us to go around. And again, circling back to arguably every episode that I've ever filmed, like, we just want to be resources, and we want to make sure our clients are informed, educated, and comfortable every step of the way.
I like that. Say that again.
Informed, educated, and comfortable.
I love that.
That's my that tagline that I've used for a while. I want to build.
I need a cool tagline.
This is two different taglines I kind of structure my business around. Is first and foremost, build quality relationships with quality people and grow together. That's one that I implemented from day zero. And then informed, educated, and comfortable is something that I've recently kind of just made a priority, because again, that's what it's about. Yeah. I want you to be informed on what you're getting into. I want you to be educated on the options you have. And I want you to be comfortable with the decisions you're making. Like, what more can you ask for out of a arguably the biggest transaction you'll ever be a part of?
You can't break it down any simpler than that. And that's one thing I always talk about too. This is people's biggest transaction. You got to treat it like that.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've talked to agents that are new to. It's like, you treat every single one the same. Yep. And I feel like that's the systems that you have in place, and the systems that I'm always trying to get in place.
It's a work in progress.
But I mean, it doesn't change the way I treat people.
Right.
I have one right now that we're listed at $120,000. She gets the exact same treatment listing as the one I have listed for $2.175, and then all the other ones in between. Yep. Get the exact same treatment. I mean, that's, I implemented a new system now where I do a full property brochure. It's got 35 photos on it that might not be on the MLS, feature sheets of the property. Those go on my $120,000 house, and it's going on my over $2 million house. Mm-hmm. That's what I think a lot of people in this industry forget too, is might not be the biggest deal you've ever done, but it's the client's biggest deal that they've ever done. And that is widely forgotten about.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, pisses me off when people don't treat it that way.
Right. Yeah, and you have to. I had a conversation with a client, actually known the guy for a while, but talked to him last week. He was, finally making the decision that he wants to buy his first house. He's been renting for 15 years, and we just chatted for 20 minutes, and I was just giving him a high-level view of what my process looks like and what the process takes. And by the time I was done with the explanation, he's like, man, that just sounds too easy. I said, that's the point. Like, this is a very complex process that my team wants to make sound very easy. Mm-hmm. My goal is that you do a lot of your work up front as the client, and then we take care of everything else behind the scenes so that you don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
And my goal is when you get done with the process and you're settled into your new home, you're like, man, I'm so glad that I called Brady and his team, because this was an easy process.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot that goes into home buying process. I don't want to downplay that at all. If you're curious about the nuance of the process we built, tune into, I think it was episode 10 with John Cornish. We talked in detail about some of the little things we do behind the scenes. So there's a lot that goes into it, but my hope is from a client facing perspective, you're like, wow, all I had to basically do was apply, upload documents, have a conversation with Brady, and then go find a house. Like, it really can be that simple.
Yeah. And I feel like that's going back to kind of coming from that side of the industry.
Yeah.
Is things I try to prepare clients for too before, they've
It's a unique perspective.
They've already talked to the lender and they've started the pre-approval, whether it's with you guys or any other lender. I'm like, you need to start collecting your last 2 pay stubs, your last 2 months bank statements. When that comes in the mail, keep it. You're going to need it. Your last 2 years tax returns.
Right.
I mean, if you're like me, you're always filing extensions. You can't do that when you're buying a house.
Right. You learned the hard way. You just bought one.
I might, I laugh because Louis, we do a lot of business together, but I probably was one of his worst customers ever. He got to the point where he's just calling Molly and like, Molly, I need this.
Yeah. I'm not calling Bo anymore. He doesn't have it for me.
So I might be
but I think that's a unique perspective. I mean, you have insight with being a realtor, but you've learned what our side looks like too, because you've experienced it firsthand. You were a mortgage lender. You were on the title side. You've experienced all these avenues. Yep. And what a value add for your client. Now that you have all of these things, you can even be even more of an expert being the true realtor. And now I'm sure you would agree with this, but you want to stay in your lane. You want to just be the realtor. You don't want to try to wear all 3 of those hats.
Nope.
But on the flip side, because of the knowledge that you have and the experience and the past lives that you have in your career, you're able to advise on a lot of the questions they probably have.
I do. And I'm actually helping a mother and her son buy a house together right now. And yesterday we're talking about, originally she was just approved for the loan. Now he's going to be added on because he's got some things and they're going to buy this house together.
Yeah.
And they're starting to asking me questions about, well, how do we add me to the loan? And, well, I'm going to put down this much and she's going to put down this much. And, my first question is, how is this going to look in 5 years when you want to move out? Mm-hmm. Are you guys going to do this? Okay. I mean, it's mother, son. They're not going to fight. Right. It's not a divorce. But I said, this is all questions for your lender. I don't want your lender negotiating your inspection items. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to negotiate your loan process because there's a big picture that I don't know. Yep. Yes, I came from that world, but I'm not in your bank accounts right now. I'm not looking at your credit report. Let's let the lender do their thing, and I will do my side. Yep. I will work with the lender. Hey, do we need to get closing costs? How much do we need? Yep. And what's the max we can get? And that'll help me structure the deal. Yeah. But I'm not here to do the...
I love that.
And I hate talking rates. Mm-hmm. That's one thing, too, that drives me nuts with agents. I'm bitching about agents this podcast.
Let's do it. Let's dive in.
No, I mean, it's just like agents that want to talk rates on their social media posts. Why?
Yeah.
I mean...
I'm going to start posting about agents' commissions. Can I start listing, what realtors typically charge when
you're going to get people with pitchforks at you.
Just saying.
Yeah, no,
I'm going to pull my pitchfork out and stop realtors from posting about rates.
Hey, no, I don't hate it. I mean,
It's just not the right sales tactic.
no. And also you read that fine print there at the bottom. You know, we all get the email every day from this lender, that lender, which I can't wait for January because that's my unsubscribe month. I take all of January and I unsubscribe from every email that comes in.
Yep.
But I always laugh because it's like, you know, rates are up. Today's rates 5.875. It's like that's an unrealistic interest rate because if you read the small print with 780 credit, 20% or 25% down, a lot of them are now 75% loan to value, 25%, and it's always got that perfect loan amount of 300,000. It's like,
Yep.
Okay, you're getting unrealistic here.
The moment any of those little nuances of the scenario change, so does the interest rate we can offer. There's a lot of variables that go into determining rates, which is why I don't post
and it
rates
doesn't change
anywhere.
a little bit.
Yeah, it can change a lot.
It can change a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and listen, I want to do everything in my power to get you the best possible interest rate that I can. But if the market changes or your credit's different than the last person, or if your amount of down payment is different than the last person, or if we're utilizing a first-time homebuyer program that maybe the other person's not eligible for and vice versa, there's so many different nuances. And to your point, realtors, it's almost like they just don't know what else to sell.
They want to be the expert in everything.
And not only that, but they only think that people care about interest rates. Like that's it. And obviously, yes, interest rates have been in the magnifying glass for the last 2.5, 3 years, just with the nature of how things have adapted. But it's not everything. And at the end of the day, more importantly, you as the real estate agent have no control over it. So back to Bo's point, kind of stay in your lane on that front. I don't want to burn any bridges, I guess. But
I'll talk about a past client. He used to run our Little League. I got my new slogan here. Our Jeff F. Camp. He had the sign up on the dugout that said, "Let the players play, let the coaches coach, and let the fans cheer." Maybe that'll be my new slogan.
There you go.
Let the lenders lend, let the agents show.
Agent? I don't know.
Let the agents sell, and let the client decide.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't try to wear every hat.
Right.
It's like an agent that tries to say, "Well, that roof's bad." How do you know it's bad?
Let the expert decide.
Are you a contractor?
Right.
Where's your ladder? Mm-hmm. Like, let's let a contractor come out here. I'm not saying it's not bad.
Yeah.
But let's let them.
Yeah, and listen, it's good. It's good to know enough to be dangerous. That's what I always say.
Yep.
From a lending perspective, from a contracting perspective, like as the agent, if you can have enough awareness on both sides to be dangerous, but also more importantly, have the right people that you can call at the snap of a finger that can step in and be the true expert there. Like that's the best case scenario.
Oh yeah, I got 2 plumbers I trust, 2 roofing contractors I trust. Concrete guys. I mean, I have the contacts.
Yep.
I'm not going to sit here and try to determine for them.
You might identify a problem.
Yep.
But then you're going to have the expert be the real expert and identify what needs to be addressed.
I guess with 1,900 transactions, I've come across a few problems. So I feel like
1 or 2.
I do have enough to be dangerous in a lot of them. But yeah, don't stay in your lane.
So synopsis, I'm going to go back and start posting every week that every agent that I work with is going to charge 1.5% for commissions. That's what you're all going to work for from now on, because that's cheaper than what the other person's doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You better have a good tire.
My clients are getting a discount on commissions. Every single person.
You better have a good tire salesman.
Why, you gonna pop my tires?
Not me.
No, well, I'm gonna go around and start popping tires for every person that posts an interest rate that's lower than the market rate then too.
No, it's just that's what's
we're joking, of course. We want to clarify that, but
it's just stay in your lane. Do what you do good. Mm-hmm.
And I can't stress enough, like going back to the rate thing, we want to do everything in our power to get you the lowest interest rate possible. But at the end of the day, the market is what it is. More importantly, your financial profile is what it is as a client. Like if you pay your bills on time, your credit score is going to be higher. If you have more money saved, you're going to have bigger down payment. All of those things impact what rates lenders can offer.
Yeah.
And I want to do everything I can to get you the best possible deal, but we have to have an understanding of the full picture before we go quote a rate. That's the most important part of that.
So switching topics. The hell do you think of this market right now?
Man, that's a deep one. It depends on how you look at it, right? Like in what perspective you look at it from. I would say my favorite part about it is that we're not running around with our heads chopped off. Buyers have opportunity. If you want to buy a home, there's an opportunity to go out and calmly look and make a decision. I think that's the best part, is that people aren't rushing into decisions. You have time to make your decisions. You have time to get properly educated on interest rates, payments, everything like that. That's been my favorite part that I've implemented is the buyer consultation, going through that, making sure I understand people's goals, gives us time. During the chaos of 20 and 21, we didn't have time to do that. So from that front, I love that side of things. I think buyers have more ability to negotiate and get some things won. But on the flip side, from a housing specific standpoint, I would say that we are not experiencing, at least in the Des Moines, Iowa market. I want to clarify that because there are markets that are different than ours. We're not seeing this catastrophe market blow up where prices are plummeting. Like that's not happening, at least yet. Be curious to hear your thoughts. They're probably reducing a little bit, and I'm sure agents are probably having realistic expectation setting conversations with people about, you're not going to get maybe top dollar and 17 offers in 48 hours. Like that conversation is changing. But I also think from a perspective, you have to look at it long term, and the appreciation that we saw from end of 2019 through 2024 was far bigger than it should have been, frankly. And so if you do see some price reductions or reducing of value, at the end of the day, we're probably just coming back to where it should have been in the first place.
Yeah.
And so, I don't want, the price the house down the street dropping in price to scare somebody else off from selling or frankly buying something else on that street. It's not like we're bubbling to the point where things are blowing up. We're just being realistic about what a house is worth.
Yeah.
Is the biggest thing I've seen. I would also argue that this quote unquote slowdown that we've seen from a real estate standpoint is not real estate driven at all. And what I mean by that is that there is a substantial impact on the cost of living outside of just real estate alone. Mm-hmm. Groceries, auto loans for $1,300 a month. Student loans kicking back in over 12 months ago. People have student loan debt they weren't paying for 2.5, 3 years.
At 0% interest.
At 0% interest. Credit card bills being at an all-time high because, frankly, you just have to use a credit card to even buy your family food. Like, there's so many other factors that have caused the real estate industry to slow down that aren't real estate driven at all. Mm-hmm. And everybody likes to highlight interest rates as the prior deciding factor on that. Arguably, the higher interest rates are what's stopping people from spending money on the other things that they shouldn't be spending money on anyways. I have an Airbnb down in Arizona. I was looking at our gross revenue through the end of September last week. We're down 20%. And when you look at that from a common sense standpoint, why would travel or Airbnb revenue be down 20% in 2025? Well, common sense tells you it's because people are less prioritizing travel and leisure activities in order to be able to make ends meet for their people and their families. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing that I'm reminding myself as the investor who obviously owns that property is like, I'm okay with it because I'm giving people grace on like, I want you to pay your bills. Like, I don't want you to come travel just to travel. So that's, I guess, to kind of wrap up a synopsis on the market is we're not experiencing a real estate crash or correction. Owning real estate is still proven long-term to be an incredible opportunity as long as you're financially prepared to do it. Just understand what you're getting yourself into is the biggest thing I can stress.
No, I think I echo all that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Anything else you're seeing? I know you talked before we went on air, but you've got, an increased amount of listings, which is a good thing, right? Like you're thankful to have clients, but.
Oh, yeah. I'm very thankful to have them. Any new agents out there that want to cut their teeth with me, give me a holler. I'm probably by the end of the week going to have 16 listings. Mm-hmm. Hopefully 2 are going to come off and go pending. So put me at 14, but definitely put them in open houses and give them bats and stuff. So
yeah.
Overall, like you said, I think your thoughts on the not really the economy, but where other people are spending money is my exact thing. I just don't think people have. It's got to be a need to move right now, and that is 100% fine with me.
Yep.
Let's get some of the part-timers out and let us full-timers that are in this for the long haul.
Right. Yeah, and the context for everybody watching this is late September at the time of filming, so it'll be 6, 7, 8 weeks probably before this episode goes live. So I'll be
Merry
curious.
Christmas.
Yeah, honestly, that's disgusting to think about. But we're pretty darn close to Christmas time. So Merry Christmas. Hopefully it's not too cold yet. No, so yeah, keep that with a grain of salt. The market could be entirely different in 60 days when this goes live. But if there's anything I can stress is just, know and trust that we're doing our due diligence to make sure we're informed on the nature of the market. It's ever changing. It's ever adapting. But it all circles back to understanding your family's specific goals, not necessarily buying or trying to time the market. That's not the right sales tactic when you're looking at buying real estate, unless you're a true investor who's got plenty of, equity and cash that you're utilizing. If that's a different strategy you're putting into place, that's different. But most, I would say, our clients that we work with are buying primary residences, and we always say we sell dreams, not homes.
Absolutely.
And so we're here to help navigate what that looks like so you can buy the right house so that
dream.
You're financially comfortable, and more importantly, you've got a place where you can make memories with your family. So that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Thank you, Brady, for having me on here.
Appreciate you, Bo.
Let me come back.
We will definitely do that.
I feel like we haven't. We're scratching the surface.
I know it's easy and crazy how quickly time can fly.
Oh, I gotta go get kids.
I know it, but no. Listen, thank you for being a resource. Thank you for being a valued part of our industry, making an impact on our clients. Everybody for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be sure to link Bo's information in the description down below. Reach out to him on social media, email, text, phone call. He'd love to be a resource, and yeah, he might call you more than you're proud to admit. But this has been another episode of Educating Homebuyers, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you.